your perspective, right? You've got orbital capability ship. Describe your ship, because I haven't seen like a life-size picture of it. So
Right. So we have multiple marine assets now. Since the last time we came on, we've tested what we call our tri-sub. It is a semi-submersible proprietary platform. It's basically a very small floating oil rig. It is intended again for military applications, so to be a counter drone, counter UAS missile launch platform. So that's our smallest platform. And then the next largest platform up from that is our ship. It's a former Navy ship. It's 180 foot long by 40 foot. And so we've done some larger missile tests for customers and IRAD from that. But you couldn't launch an orbital rocket from either of these platforms. They're just too small.
Yeah.
And the ship is it has to remain crewed during operations due to Coast Guard regulations. It's not advanced enough to have the dynamic positioning and the thrusters to remain in place without crew on it. So that's out. But we do have access to larger, they're called lift boats or jack-up platforms, where it's a barge. You build up the the expeditionary launch pad on the barge. Barge gets towed out, it puts down legs, and the thing lifts up. And so we have access to those. And then we have access to regular, just large deck barges. And we completed, again, it was another DoD contract, a design process to launch up to a launch vehicle up to 100 tons in gross liftoff weight, something along the scale of a Firefly Alpha from a deck barge from anywhere in the ocean. So the challenge that we've had up until very recently, well, we still continue to have this challenge, is no customers, right? The orbital launch industry, like I said, has been dominated and is still dominated by SpaceX, but with SpaceX choosing to exit the rideshare market, as well as the boom, let's call it, in the interest in AI data centers and potentially AI data centers in space. I'm wondering if what's old is new again. Might there be a resurgence in launch, right? For at least 4 years now, going to a venture capitalist and saying, I want to start a rocket launch company has been the kiss of death. They're like, I'm not interested. That's a stupid idea. I wonder if that's changing. And my thought is, SpaceX at any moment could crush this market by saying, oh, we're going to do rideshare on Starship.
Right.
So on the other hand, their Starship will be entirely occupied with launching AI data center satellites and Starlinks.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a Pez dispenser as well. They could change all that, of course, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the dynamics, right? I feel like SpaceX is still the elephant in the room and is still very much driving the bus when it comes to launch in the West, at least.
Again, I think I can see why the satellite providers are so upset about this.
Yeah.
Simply because it's not just a matter of Musk saying, okay, well, everything's going to be Starship now. Put all my eggs in Starship, and we can launch 10 times as much stuff, and rideshare and all that, and it'd actually be more economic for you if you get on board. But you know what's going to happen, as you said, AI data centers are going to take priority, and all the stuff he wants to do on the moon is going to take priority. And so there's still a shortage, even if he has a launch cadence of 100 a week.
Beanoff just posted something I read about earlier today. It's really important. I'm going to put his post up here. Hey, Pistrito, glad you're here. Thanks. I'm glad you're paying attention to this one. This is from Dallas. There have now been 2 companies that have bought a whole SpaceX launch and are offering availability to other companies, right? So this is almost a back door to a ride share.
We know both of those companies. We're actually pretty close to both of those companies, and I have been told in good confidence that while they were able to buy these launches, SpaceX has said no, we won't sell you a Falcon 9 after 2029.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
they've asked for like, can we buy multiple entire Falcon 9s, every 2 years or every 18 months? And SpaceX has just said no, they're burning the ships. They're going straight to Starship.
There is a whole industry right now that's feeling like bait and switched, right? A whole industry
Well, I mean,
that
there's
builds
just a lack of
business
competition,
models.
is what it is. I mean,
Yeah,
it's been the
we
same story for 5 years.
we've been talking about this as a monopoly environment, and that we're kind of held hostage by a very mercurial leader of a. And
I don't begrudge Elon Musk.
No,
But I mean, this is an opportunity, right? This is a great opportunity. I've been saying for a while we need more rocket companies. You just talked about all these companies that are raising hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. I mean, maybe it's time for some of that to go into launch.
I think that people really are beginning to understand that spaceports writ large is the gating factor. It's not about technology anymore, and it's not about money anymore necessarily. But if you don't have a place that you can actually go from, they're not making any more Cape Canaveral. There's no more room there. There's no more,
Yeah, I mean, we kind of pivoted from launch to launch sites, and
Right.
I like that. I appreciate that. But a launch site needs rockets, right?
Right.
So, but you're spot on. I mean, part of the reason we're seeing so much demand for our services is because they're not building any more Cape Canaverals, but they're also not building any more White Sand Missile Ranges or China Lake, sea test ranges. These are kind of exquisite facilities, and it's very challenging to take away someone's beach or someone's seaside access to build a military test range today, or even a commercial spaceport.